Spacey Sims, and we're back with more Taisho Alice, and we are just continuing Alice's route, or the epilogue, or both, basically. And I think we were probably in Snow White's route at this point. Um, unless they wanted you to read the wizard first, but I feel like that can't be true because, you know, the wizard kind of revealed all of Alice's secrets and it would be weird. But that's all we have left. We just have Snow White and the wizard. So I assume Snow White's, but we'll find out. Anyway, I awoke in the mansion. Oh, it's this place. In Red's world, this was my house. Arisu. Yes? Oh, it's his mother. Okay, never mind. I figured it was him, but I looked over in the direction of the voice and froze. What'll it be today? Chaste? Retro? Or perhaps Lolita fashion? There appeared before me a beautiful woman. What? It was all so sudden, I didn't know how to react. All this time, I'd only ever encountered handsome men, so this was quite the combo breaker. This mysterious older woman held a dress against me. But just then... Mother. Snow White walked in, dressed all in white. Did he really just address her as mother? What is he, a little prince? Meanwhile, he looked from me to his mother and back and declared, God, wow, in the fashion she looks best in. And not chaste, not retro, not Lolita, not vintage, not girly, not conservative, not avant-garde. She looks best in gag costumes. Uh-oh. Costumes! Gag costumes? In that case... Oh, that's his mother. Sorry, I saw Snow White and got distracted. In that case, I have a onesie she could wear. I have several onesies. Like, lady, you think that I'm going to be embarrassed, but I'm going to be comfortable. Smiling brightly, Mother held up a kitty onesie. I have a lobster onesie. Girl, I win. Cool. That'll work. Snow White nodded with a strange face. Oh, with a straight face. Sorry, God. I cannot read today. Okay, Risu, let's get you changed. What? Putting her hand on my shoulder, she started to direct me to another room. Have fun. Hey, wait! What's wrong? Oh, were you hoping for a bunny onesie instead? No, Mother. She was hoping for a giant isopod onesie, sorry. I pictured myself dressed up like a big white roly-poly. Oh, I see. Sorry, sweetie. I didn't realize. Giant isopod onesie. Do we have one? No, forget all that. I shook the isopod and its many legs from my mind. Snow White, have you seen Alice around here? Alice? He fell still, his brow furrowed slightly. Mother, I need to speak privately with her for a little while. Oh, but we were playing dress-up. Please. He smiled at her, and after a moment, she smiled back. Oh, very well. In that case, perhaps I'll go shopping or something. Apples are on sale today. When I get home, I'll bake us an apple pie. Cool. Can't wait. Okay, then. Be back later. Safe travels. Snow White saw his mother off with a smile. Then he looked over at me and pointed to the chair. You sit there. I'll go make us some tea. Oh, okay. And so he filled a flower print teacup with a transparent, faintly tinted liquid. Here you go. Thanks. The smell of chamomile put me at ease. Next, he poured his own tea, then sat down across from me. As I sipped my tea, I looked at him. He was a man of few words and didn't emote much. But he was really sweet when he was interacting with his mom earlier. Perhaps that was the real him. How will you continue the conversation? Comment on the tea? Ask about... yeah, it's comment on the tea. Great tea we're having! I exclaimed cheerfully. He looked up at me. Cool. Glad to hear it. How will you compliment Snow White's tea? Praise his skill, praise his effort. It must have taken a lot of practice to get this good at making tea. He beamed back at me. Yeah. Maji Tenshi. He's my angel. Maji? Maji Tenshi. He's my angel. Anyway, let's cut to the chase. You're not the Spacey Arisu I know, are you? It was so sudden, it caught me off guard and my eyes widened, because Alice is figuring shit out. You can tell who I am? Of course I can. Oh, wow. Then do you know about our world? I do indeed. It's a dream world, right? He answered without hesitation. I could tell he had already come to terms with it. It's kind of like, in the very beginning, nobody had a clue, but then as we've fallen through, they've slowly started getting clues. Because if you think about it, we've also been pulling all the other personalities into this world with us. So we took Cinderella into Reds. We took Cinderella and Red, technically, because, like, I almost feel like when we pulled Cinderella into Reds, that Cinderella and Red kind of, like, maybe what we're doing is pulling them together. So that when we finally get to the end, it's like, all your personalities are now together as one. Like, we're putting the pieces together. So, like, they've been clued in because they're all aware now of the thing. You know what I mean? Like, we popped in here, we brought all the rest of them with us. The wizard already fucking knew what was going on, but, you know. I don't know. How much do you know exactly? Are you different from the other versions of you I've encountered so far? Other versions of me? So you came here from somewhere else? Before I came here, I was in an alternate world where Gretel was my boyfriend. Before that, it was Kaguya. And before that, Red Riding Hood and Cinderella before that. Thus far, I've met you twice before. Once in Cinderella's world, and again in Kaguya's. I'd only met these people for a short time. We barely knew each other. That was my reality. I've been passing through the looking glass, crossing from world to world. And now you're in my world? So it seems. He fell silent for a long moment. Well, I don't remember meeting you in any other worlds. So if that was me, then it wasn't me. What do you mean? This world is a dream, and dreams can change location and focus on a whim, right? Every now and then the setting changes, and I'm guessing these other versions of me were all identical in appearance and personality, right? Uh-huh. Well, that makes sense, seeing as our memories are the same. Now it was my turn to fall silent. As for how much I know, I'd say I know basically everything. After all, I gazed into the mirror of truth. The what? He stared back at me with his translucent eyes. Do you want to learn the truth? Yeah? Even if you won't like it? Yeah. When I nodded firmly, he rose to his feet. Okay. Then, come with me. Again and again, I found myself here. It was a place near and dear to Spacey Arisu's heart, though I didn't have those memories. Together we gazed out at the rolling waves. See, this lake reflects everything backwards like a mirror. Yeah, I know. It's how I stumbled my way into Red's world. I see. Yeah, I'm not surprised you were able to. Through the looking glass. A story where Alice climbs through a mirror into the fantastical world beyond. And Arisu is a mirror reflection of Alice. As for me, I'm Snow White. So Alice and I both have mirrors in common. You're approaching the truth now, aren't you? Cinderella, Red Riding Hood, Kaguya, Gretel, they're all famous storybook protagonists, each with a story centered around them. Yes, they were the protagonists, and the heroine was named Spacey Arisu. She was me, but I wasn't quite her. That's very profound. She's me, but I'm not quite her. Like, you just all of a sudden were like, I had an identity crisis for a second there. Because you're like, yeah. Like, you ever, like, that's like the weird, like, borderline, like, you feel like an imposter in your own life. Sometimes you're like, this is my life. But, like, it doesn't feel exactly right sometimes. Like, it's really weird. Like, it's just a passing thing. It's one of those things that, like, you're going about your day and you're like, huh, this is the way my life has always been. And you look back and you think and you're like, but it's that, like, brief moment of out of body. Like, you're an out of mind moment where you're like, huh, Really? Really? You're like, all right, I guess. And then you just keep going. But you're like, exactly this. She was me, but I wasn't quite her. That's me, but I'm not quite. But that's still not quite me. It's really weird. Anyway. As a princess, she existed to save her prince. And right now, it's my story. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Show me what I want to see. Tell me what I want to hear. I always knew I was in a dream. That's how I was able to control the situation at will. Oh, that's true. He's in a dream within a dream. Right. Wasn't that? Yeah, okay, I kind of forgot about that. That makes more sense of why he knows. Never mind. So there goes my theory that they're all starting to get clued in because I'm taking them all. I mean, I'm not saying that at the end it's not going to be like, hey, you brought all the personalities together. But, because we might, but I kind of forgot we were in here in Snow White's dream and then we pulled him out, quote unquote, into the real world. I use air quotes around that. You can't see me because obviously, you know. But that was also technically a dream. It was like, wait a minute. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So now we're just like, we're in that bottom level where we started in his route. Anyway. I fiddled with the settings so I could see what I wanted to see and hear what I wanted to hear. I figured it wasn't hurting anybody. But this body only has one brain. So I'm sure he must have suffered all throughout the dream. He who? And the one who's actually having this dream? Snow White turned back to the lake, which is basically you. You're having this dream. But Alistair's having the dream that he's you that's having the dream. That's really weird. Like, you know what I'm talking about. Like, Alistair's the one here, and then Snow White's the personality, and then this is where we are down here. We're like 2 levels deep. Is that the 3rd level? If Alistair's level 1, Snow White's level 2, and then Snow White in a dream where we are right now is level 3, I guess? Anyway. Snow White turned back to the lake. In the water's reflection, I turned into someone else. Only a dream lets me look the way I want. When I wake up, I'll have someone else's face and someone else's voice. That's true, technically. Do you get what I'm saying? Multiple personalities? Correct. Oh, so weird. Snow White is a dream within a dream that knows he's a split personality. And the other ones don't seem to. We each represent one of his many personalities. I feel like it's weird that Snow White knows this, but also it's weird that, because we learned all this kind of in the wizard's route, but like, what the fuck are we going to do when we get there? I guess it's easier to explain it here, and then we go to the wizard, and then we get a little more, because Snow White has a grasp, but the wizard knows everything. And each different world is the dream that each of us is having. And that's why the world keeps changing. And for the record, I'm pretty sure none of them realize it. No, they definitely don't. If these worlds are all dreams, then why do I have a consciousness of my own? Because you're the heroine. In all the stories you've seen thus far, they all had a heroine, correct? You're right. They all really seem to love her. No surprise there. He smiled. The person who created these stories is out there in the real world. She's controlling you. Controlling me? What for? I don't know. I may be him, but I'm not her. He's also not really... He's like, I may be him, but I'm also not really him. You know what I mean? I'm just a part. Anyway, that's all I know. For the rest, you'll need to ask someone else or find the answer yourself. Right. I guess I'm on my own. I looked down at my hands. My mind, body, and soul were all a figment of someone else's imagination. What could I possibly hope to achieve? Sensing something in my silence, Snow White spoke up again. You're looking for Alice, right? What'll you do when you find him? Punch him? I mean, no. At first I started chasing him because I thought he had all the answers. But as I pursued him through all the different worlds, I started to figure things out for myself. Then I got scared. I started questioning my own existence here in this so-called dream. But then Alice told me that I'm Arisu, and that really meant a lot. He validated me. He saved me. I don't know the real reason why he keeps running from me, but when I was lost, he found me and led me by the hand, and now I'm here. That's why I'm going to find him. Besides, I still don't have my most important memories. I grinned, and Snow White smiled back. Gotcha. You really aren't like her at all. Huh? I stared at him, my eyes as round as saucers. You have the same face, voice, and personality as the heroine of my story. Until she arrived, I couldn't even brew a cup of tea of my own. And I mean, that's true because, like, the personality that we have is a little, again, that in this dream world or in all the routes, technically, that we've had is a piece of her real, true personality. Just a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, you're not really like her. But I kind of am a little bit. You know what I mean? Well, actually, no, we kind of had to adapt ourselves to what worked for them. And it's kind of funny because if you think about it, that's what happens in every Otome game, right? As you're playing, you're like, oh, you're like, well, normally I tell you to go fuck yourself for that kind of shit, but I'm supposed to be like, no, I love cages. Put me in it, daddy. We only do that for Gretel and maybe Sashin from Steam Prison, even though he didn't have a row, but I'm just saying, if he wanted me in a cage, I'd probably get in it. But Toma, you can go fuck yourself. Like, you know, like, so you kind of, like, adapt, and there are times where you're like, no, you're like, I know I'm supposed to like this, but I don't, or reality, I'd be like, no, or it doesn't fit with the MC's personality. I mean, they're usually generally, like, blank slates, kind of, like, so that when you make choices that fit the love interest, you're crafting her personality around them. Like, you don't really see it because you're like, oh, she's got a personality, but not really. You know, like, she might be kind of, like, quirky and spunky and outgoing, but then you got the quiet guy, and yeah, that could actually work in reality, but, oh, we've got to learn to tone ourselves down a little bit, or we've got to change kind of who we are to get our man, which, okay, sorry about that. Yeah, so the pest guy came to knock on my door. I didn't call for the pest services. This is like the second time my apartment complex has sent the pest people here without me calling, and it's kind of annoying. It's more annoying, and I'm really freaking annoyed about this, because they knock and interrupt me while I'm recording. So I stop, I come back, I start recording again, I finish this entire part, and it didn't freaking record past 30 fucking seconds. So I sat here, my thing was up here, it was recording, I was doing the math in my head, like, okay, yeah, no, it didn't fucking work, it just stopped. But it showed that it was recording, but it stopped. So, yeah, so this is like the next day, because I didn't realize that that happened. I was like, okay, got the second part in there, awesome. I didn't see how long it was, I just saw that there was a file there. Went to go process everything last night. I'm like, I'll just process everything I got sitting out there, you know? Just cuz. No, 30 seconds. Are you fucking shitting me? So from here till the end, you'll see previously read, because I have previously read it all before, because Jesus fucking Christ. People knocking on my door, fucking my shit up, annoying as shit. Anyway. So, what the frick? Anyway, oh my god, there's like a million frickin' shit going on my phone right now, sorry. Anyway, so, until she arrived, I couldn't even brew a cup of tea on my own. I don't know if we read that in the last part, I can't remember. But her presence in my world changed who I am. You must really love her, huh? I do. I love her to bits. And we were also having a conversation about things before that, and I don't remember where my train of thought was, because it was enough when I came back, started recording, I was like, where was my train of thought? Okay, and now it's been like a day, so like, sorry! Anyway, you don't care. We do this a lot, where we start to ramble, and they're like, I had a point, and I don't remember what it was, but anyway. I do. I love her to bits. And that's why I want to help you. I want to repay you for rescuing me from that nightmare. He offered his hand to me. What? But I'm not her. I know. But you're still a part of her. Go on, Arisu, take my hand. We're going to the next world, right? Right. So, we managed to, in what I actually recorded, get to where we... Because, you know, after this, we go into, like, Alice's perspective, whatever, and then we get into the next world, and that's where I stopped. That's where we'll stop, whether it's a super long part or a super short part, like, whatever. You know, just because. So anyway, it just feels like a really good place. Like we've been getting this way. It's like, oh, they're perfectly like an hour. It's interesting. So anyway, I grabbed his hand and together we plunged into the lake. Perfectly an hour because I ramble 90% of the time, but. A few months had passed since we first reunited. Oh. One day after classes had let out, Spacey suddenly took off running. As I watched in confusion, she turned back and waved me over. Alistair! Alistair! When I approached, she held up a cat. Meow! Surprise! Cat! Yep, it's a cat. Sorry, but cats make you uncomfortable? Yeah, I do remember this part because I remember being like, girl, you knew he was afraid of cats because you brought a cat to him when you were children. And I was like, what the fuck are you trying to like be like, I know you remember me, god damn it. And I'm like, is she trying to test him? Like, haha. And then he'll be like, don't you remember? And you'll be like, you do remember me, you son of a bitch, you've been lying. But then I was like, they were also like children and it's been like a fucking decade. So like, yeah, I mean, I can't blame her for forgetting that. You know what I mean? Because I don't remember shit from 10 years ago. I can barely remember yesterday. Case in point, we're doing this again, and it's like, I forgot where my train of thought was when we, like, got cut off, you know? So, anyway. I couldn't remember 10 minutes later. It wasn't even 10 minutes, it was like 2 minutes. I couldn't remember 2 minutes later where my train of thought was, so... Yeah, anyway. Yeah. Gotcha. Oh, sorry for laughing. That was rude. I don't blame you. I'm the pathetic loser who's afraid of cats. I always want to put Alice voice on Alistair, but just because the thoughts in his head go to Alice, but they probably shouldn't, but whatever. No, that's not true. I don't think you're pathetic at all, Alistair. Oh, click. What? You're blushing. No, I'm not. At this point, I'd gotten used to my new life, and we were still distant. How's it going? Have you settled into your new routine? Yes, sir. You can be honest with me, you know. I'm not your family. I'm just your doctor. Well, you kind of are, because your parents adopted him, so he's kind of your, like, adopted brother. I'm just saying. My new family treats me very well. My adoptive parents are really kind, and I can tell they're doing everything they can for me. But... is it Spacey? I think we goes right there. It's her, isn't she? She's fucking obnoxious. I am! He had guessed correctly. A cold sweat trickled down my back. Is Spacey bothering you? Spacey bothers everyone. No, she doesn't bother me. I'm just a little uncomfortable around her, I guess. For some reason, whenever I look at her, my chest gets all tight. I think it's because she's so perfect and beautiful and competent. It makes me feel bad by comparison. So you don't like being around her? No, that's not it. I see. Well, I'm not gonna force you to be her best friend. If you don't like her, just ignore her. Right. To be clear, I didn't especially dislike her. But whenever we were together, it felt like someone was holding up a mirror to all my flaws. It wasn't me she was seeing. It was Alice. Kinda true. On my way home from the hospital, I passed a group of schoolgirls. Ugh, she drives me crazy. You're really mad about it, huh? She's just such an attention whore. Just because she's mixed race or something, she's allowed to have permed hair when the rest of us aren't, and her eyes are creepy. I thought she said it was all natural. She's probably lying about it. And the way she talks is so obnoxious. I mean, yes, also fair, but so is you. Like, so are you, female student A. Yeah, it's definitely pretty weird. Something about this conversation gave me pause, but I didn't put it together until later. I don't like it when the games call me out. Hey, Allie Sue! What's up? There's something I've been meaning to ask you. Sorry, but I'm not Sorry, but I'm not accepting any declarations of love right now. And I can't even confess? I mean, no, that's not it. Why do you talk all weird? Sokana? Do I? Sokana? That, exactly. You keep switching languages. I do remember this part, because I do remember thinking that, like, when you're in school in Japan, they learn English. We don't. I went on a long-ass tangent about how it's kind of bullshit that they just make you don't get to choose the language you want to take. I mean, you kind of get to choose, but, like, when I went to school, it was French or Spanish. Fuck you. I don't like either one of those. Sorry. But I just don't. Like, romance languages don't appeal to me. You're like, oh, French sounds so beautiful. Oh, Italian is sexy. Spanish is so pretty. Like, I don't find that appeal. They don't sound sexy or beautiful to me. Japanese does. When it's coming from most people. When you have the female VAs who, like, do the super high-pitched voice, that's kind of grating on my nerves, and I can understand why people don't like it. It's like, oh god, I'm gonna need you to tone it down. It's, like, piercing my ears. But, like, you know, when they have, like, the sexy lady voices, like, in anime and stuff that you're watching, you're like, okay, that's fine. That doesn't bother me at all. That's, like, up there with, like, male Japanese VAs. But it's when they do the, like, high-pitched kind of voices. But I feel like it's because it's over... Like, they do it on purpose. You know what I mean? Like, that's the intonation, that's the character that they're putting in. And if you had characters in English, you were like, oh my god, yes! Like, you'd fucking want to punch yourself in the face, too. You just don't generally have that. You know what I mean? Like, so, it's just a characterization that, like, I'm just not fond of, like, the super high-pitched, oh my god, it's so cute. I can't even do it. I mean, I'll do those voices sometimes, but they're annoying, right? My voice is annoying, but anyway. But yeah, no, it kind of sucks, because, like, if you had to take a language, you know what I mean, for most of your education, yeah, you'd be sprinkling it in too. And plus, sprinkling it in, or, like, flipping back and forth, like, I'll do that sometimes, trying to learn a language. You walk around and you say things. You repeat things that you've learned. You say things like, oh wait, I'm gonna say this in the other language, so that it imprints it in your brain and you remember. You know what I mean? I've been really bad in, like, the last couple of months at, like, learning and re-imprinting in my brain things that I should know. But, like, it is a little weird when, like, in this, okay, the way we're reading it, she's speaking in English and she's sprinkling in Japanese. Because then it's like, that's where you got to be careful, because, yeah, you could actually sprinkle in legitimate Japanese that you know. Or you could be the person's, oh, so kawaii! Okay, like, stop. Everybody knows that. It doesn't make you special. You're not special. Like, you know what I mean? You know there's going to be those people who are like, I'm totally special because I used a Japanese word. And it's like, you're not, though. Like, everybody knows that. Like, what she does is actually, like, normal stuff, but in the reverse, the way it was originally written, she's speaking Japanese, and then every once in a while she'll say English stuff, and it's like, that's kind of normal, I feel like. I feel like a lot of people do that. Like, you might do it every once in a while, either because you're one of those weirdos who thinks it makes you special, or just because you're like, I can say it, that's cool, I know what that is in a different language. Like, I know how to ask where the library is in 4 different languages, and I'm counting Canadian as another language, because it's super polite. And you gotta throw the A in there at the end, so it's like a whole other language. Okay, so really I can ask where the library is in 3 languages, which, you know, is probably the most important thing you're ever gonna ask for if you're in a foreign country. I'm just saying. I'm being sarcastic, obviously. Like, I don't know why I remember how to ask where a library is in Spanish. I don't know why, after 75 fucking years. It's been 84 years! And that's what I remember. Other than I say, hi, how are you? I'm good, how about you? Good, thanks. You know, like, having that conversation and where's the library? That's it. That's fucking sad. Oh, I mean, you can say thank you. And you're welcome, I think. So, like, but still. The easiest things to learn is, like, thank you, you're welcome. Hi, how are you? I'm good. Like, that's a simple, easy conversation that you could probably learn in any language if you learn. You're like, okay, I can do that. Where is the library is not fucking normal. So it's like the most strange thing that I know in Spanish. Oh, it's weird. But anyway. This is a lot shorter than my original ramble, but like, I don't think it's weird, but I think it's weird that they think it's weird and they bring it up. But I mean, I get it's for plot purposes, but it's weird you think it's weird is all I'm saying. Anyway. Is it really that weird? It's not. Super weird, dude. It's not. You're weird. You agree with me, right, Blondie? That's not his voice. I can't do it right now. I dodged the question. Sure, she's spoken a mix of Japanese and English, but it didn't seem all that strange to me. Good boy. Pats on head. Boop, boop, boop. I mean, I spent my childhood speaking both languages, you know. Code switching is just easier than trying to commit to one of the two. Yeah. And again, it refreshes your memory. Besides, it's what makes me unique. You and, like, a lot of other people, so not really, but okay. Unique? Yep! She nodded, smiling. Say, Alice, mind if we stop by the store real quick? Sure, I don't mind. Oh, it's Arisu. Nice to see you again, cutie. Thanks. Is there a cutie discount I can get? Wow, you're so fluent in our language. Just then a thought occurred to me. Maybe she was switching languages on purpose. Maybe she was playing the part of the silly foreigner in order to draw attention away from me, the guy who didn't look Japanese. That was when I realized who those schoolgirls were gossiping about. Yeah, but see, the thing is they look at you and be like, oh, this foreign kid doesn't speak our language, and then you just, like, bust it out because you're like, it's the only language I speak, asshole. In your face. So, I mean, I'm just saying. You gotta get some confidence, Alistair, Jesus. So I decided to ask Ryoshi about it. They were siblings, so I figured he would have some insight. Hey, can I ask you something? Does Spacey always talk like that? Huh? The code switching, I mean. Oh, that. I don't remember her doing that back when we first met. Honestly, I'm not sure. I hadn't seen her in years until she moved back. But we also, at that time when we were teeny tiny little babies with you, hadn't moved over the ocean to where we would be speaking English. You know what I mean? And learned it there, so no, because we might not have learned English yet. We might have had a little bit in school, but not a lot, to where now we're fluent in both, you know? Anyway. I mean, she was living overseas with our mother, so I figure it's a habit she developed there. Right. I guess that makes sense. Honestly, this came as a surprise to me. I thought families always knew everything about each other, but apparently not. You know, I'm amazed y'all decided to live so far apart. Oh, that was in Alice's voice. I'm sorry. You know what? I just can't. Like, switching back and forth between characters is one thing, but then Alice and Alistair are the same character, but they're not. So, like, I'm very confused. Well, our parents are busy people. Mom's got a research facility overseas, and Dad keeps getting bounced around from one place to the next. Come to think of it, this might be the first time we've all gathered in one place. Was Spacey always by herself, too? Yeah, she was. For the first time, I discovered a crack in her seemingly perfect facade. Slowly but surely, I was starting to understand her. Sorry about that. Were you waiting long? Not really. I looked at her. Her red and blue eyes seemed to sparkle in the light. What? I love your gemstone eyes and soft, fluffy hair. It's what makes you, you. Huh? Oh, sorry, just a random thought I had. Again, I did the Alice voice. God, I'm sorry. I just can't keep it straight. I probably shouldn't read Alistair's inner monologue as Alice, but that's kind of what we did in the beginning because it was Alice talking to Alistair, and then all of a sudden he pushed Alice back. So I just get the feeling that in his head he's Alice. And when he talks out loud, he's like Alistair. You know what I mean? But I keep fucking up the voice, but it's fine. You know who's who. I don't know who's who. You don't know. Whatever, it doesn't matter. She fell silent a moment, then smiled softly. Thanks. No problem. It's easier when he's getting angry. I can't really do his voice when he's not. What the fuck? God! Nympho slut! That's so much easier. The more I learned about her, the more curious I became. Now that I think about it, how does she act when it's one of my other personalities? And then one day I decided to lay a trap. Okay. Is it cool if I come in? Sure. I visited her room pretending to be Cinderella. Why him? Because he had the most distinctive speech patterns that I felt I could replicate. What you up to? We're gonna do the Cinderella voice. Just finishing up my homework. You sure is rough being a student. She stared deeply into my eyes and snickered. You don't normally do this, do you, Alistair? Actually, I think this is the first time. Huh? And it's interesting because I feel like this scenario, was part of when the wizard was in. Remember, the wizard's like, oh, and then I was this person and this person. So it's kind of like, I thought the wizard was kind of controlling him at the time, but he seems aware of what's going on. So it's kind of like, that makes me more curious about the wizard. Like, the wizard obviously knows everything. And but the wizard actually wasn't created now, was he? No, that's true. Never mind. Because the wizard was created after Gretel, and Gretel hasn't... I mean, this is like the birth of Gretel coming up, but that's not really a spoiler. You could kind of figure that. You know what I mean? But anyway. Huh? I never imagined he'd see right through me. You can tell it's me? Of course I can. It's you, silly. After that, the vibe between us slowly began to shift. Hey, I finished sweeping the floor. Thanks. This place used to be a cafe, right? Supposedly. My parents are a little eccentric, so they bought the place and turned it into a summer home. They've renovated all the furnishings and stuff, but the rest is intact. Wow. Back when this place was first built, Japan was dipping its toes into Western culture. Women were starting to advocate for themselves, and society started to favor personal freedom. They called it Taisho democracy. I'm learning about it in class. Yep, and it was during the Taisho era that Japan's first cafe was built. Whoa. You know, Orisu, you're a great cook. If this was actually a cafe, you'd probably get a lot of customers. Aw, you think so? That's so sweet. Apparently, she didn't notice. I'd summoned all my courage to say it, but the attempt ended in failure. Awkwardly, I averted my eyes. Wait, did you just... Sorry, I wasn't sure how I'm supposed to address you, so I just kind of picked at random. Sorry if I offended you. Yeah, but he calls us by our last name. That's normal. No, not at all. No, say it again. What? Say my name! Arisu? It's weird because it's not like he's calling her Spacey. He's calling her by her last name, which is normal in Japan. So this doesn't make any sense why this is so awkward. I don't quite get it, but... I mean, unless it's because he hasn't ever called her anything? What has he called her up until now? Hey, you! You know what I mean? What's up, Alistair? She smiled bashfully. Just like she used to all those years ago. From there, we stumbled headfirst into yet another turning point. You're sure you'll be okay? I'll be fine. If I need anything, I can always ask Ryoshi. I can handle the cooking and cleaning all on my own. And you know I'm on top of my schoolwork, too. Right, I suppose so. Ryoshi, please look after these two. Of course. If anything happens, get in touch. I'll try to come home as fast as I can. Okay. And so Mr. and Mrs. Arisu went back to the big city. Guess it's just you and me from now on. Yeah. And that being said, her parents didn't come home much to begin with, so nothing would really change. Are you gonna miss them? I don't know. They're not my... I don't know. They're not my parents. so you'll probably miss them more than I do. According to Ryoshi, their family situation had resulted in Spacey spending a lot of time home alone. So I figured she was probably happier with her family around for a change. And then she smiled and said, I'll be fine as long as I've got you. I would kill my whole family if it was for you. I'm just kidding. Back in my bedroom, her words were played in my head over and over. She'll be fine as long as she's got me? What does she mean by that? With my multiple personalities, I'm like a whole party rolled into one, I guess. Or could she have feelings for me? No way, that's just not possible. I ain't done anything to earn her love. After a lot of waffling back and forth, I decided to ask her directly. Risu, I'm coming in. When I opened the door, I found her standing there in her underwear. Flustered, I slammed the door shut again. Sorry, I didn't think to ask if you were changing. I think it's hilarious because I'm kind of curious to see what we wear in the real world. Because, like, he's wearing a hoodie and a t-shirt, right? So we probably dress normal. So our underwear is literally like bra and panties, like, normal, like, oh, underwear. But if we were dressed like we were in the dream world, our underwear is like 14 fucking layers and more clothes than a normal human being wears in the summer on a hot day. All I'm saying. Like, oh my god, I saw her in her pantaloons and her corset and her tank top and her undershirt and like the 35 layers of underwear where, oh my god, you saw her ankles. You dirty, dirty slut. Like, I'm assuming it's just bra and underwear, you know what I mean? Like, because we're wearing normal clothes. But it's just funny because the only time we've ever seen her in any CGs or anything has always been in the dream world where she's in a corset and a gown. I'm like, so you know the underclothes under that, it's like, it's not, you're not seeing anything is all I'm saying. It's kind of funny. My heart thumped in my chest. The image of her scantily clad body was now burned into my retinas. Eventually the door opened and she reappeared, fully dressed this time. Hey, I'm really sorry. Did you see? You saw my naked body, didn't you? Well... And she pressed me, I floundered. Are you gonna make it up to me? How? As I stared back at her wordlessly, her expression softened. Just kidding. It's okay, no big deal. Oh, okay. No big deal. In other words, she didn't see me that way. So what did you need? I forgot. Are you serious? Man, I'm so dumb. Time passed and autumn rolled in. Yo, Blondie! That's not Wolf's voice. I don't know what happened. I can't do his voice anymore. Wolf? Morning, Allie Sue! There you go. Good morning. What's for lunch today? Wolf reached out to Spacey and she handed him the lunch bag she was carrying. Here you go. Woohoo! Hey, Allie Sue's home cooking is all mine, baby. She had started making lunches not just for me, but for Wolf too. I remember you hate onions, so I put in a whole bunch. Ew. Oh, and a nice salad. Come on, Allie Sue. I'm a growing guy, remember? And growing guys need to eat their veggies. Right, Alistair? Huh? Oh, right. What's wrong? Oh, nothing. All good. I'll kill him if he touches my sister. After a while, it was time for us to part ways. See you later, Alistair! Yeah, see ya. And I waved goodbye and they headed off without me. Deep down, a voice inside me told me to just accept it. We were the same age, but I was going to community college while she was enrolled in a four-year university. We couldn't be together 24/7. But if only I could go to the same college as sister. I'm just kidding. Her, not sister, but... Sup, bro? I sensed Wolf approaching and deftly dodged. Hey, don't dodge me! You almost made me fall over! Of course I'm gonna dodge! Find someone else's shoulder to smack! What are you even doing here, Wolf? You don't need to take the street to get from your house to the college. Huh? Oh, well, Allie Sue told me she takes the long way around so she can walk you to school every day, so I thought I'd join. No, really? How very interesting. You know, because you can see with the fog, it's all in his head. Allie Sue! Where's my lunch, dude? It's right here, actually. I held up his lunch bag and he gleefully reached out for it. Ah, thanks a million! Then I silently dropped it on the ground. At least it's in a bag. Ah! My lunch! My cabbages! I had the same reaction first time. My lunch! My cabbages! My chicken! I've been watching a lot of Scrubs. So, like, a couple of days ago, like, the episode where... I forget what's going on, but, like... Something knocks into, like, Ted's orange juice or his drink on his tray and it spills all over his chicken and he just goes, my chicken! Which is very much like the Avatar. My cabbages! I don't know the voice of the guy, but like in this. My lunch! And they're all kind of fucking hilarious in their own way. You know, it was funny the first time, and it's funny the second time because I kind of forgot about it until he said it, and then it like all came flooding back, and I was like, my chicken. No, I'm so sorry. My hand slipped. You liar! You did that on purpose, didn't you? If only. For a moment, the silly fantasy made me laugh to myself. And then the depression returned. That would never happen. No matter how envious I was, I'd never be able to close the gap now. Only I was a year younger. Then I'd have no trouble accepting my position. Here comes Gretel. Sometime afterwards, Ryoshi informed me that a new personality had been born. Gretel? He's the 5th one. Or maybe the 6th. And they're all based on fairy tales, huh? Apparently, goes to show just how deeply your subconscious mind is imprinted on those stories. Yeah, I can kind of feel it. My mother loved fairy tales, so I have a lot of memories of her reading them to me. But why was Gretel born? I thought things were more stable now. It's because of Spacey. What? I mean, not entirely because of her, obviously, but she set the stage for it. You're welcome? I'm sorry? You're welcome? No, you're welcome. Gretel is creepy and weird, but kind of entertaining, and I kind of enjoyed his route, as creepy as it was. I don't know. The debauchery. Just the amount of fucked up these games have made me. He fixed me with a hard look. Alistair, how have you been feeling now that the two of you are living alone together? How I'm feeling? What do you mean? Oh, sorry, I clicked that too fast. What do you mean? I averted my eyes. I felt like he knew I had feelings for her. Are you perhaps feeling a little inferior? Well, he wasn't wrong. My feelings for Spacey were complex, to say the least. Truth be told, part of me envied her many talents. Relax. It's not wrong to feel that way. But if you let it consume you, you'll self-destruct. If you're stuck spending all hours of the day with someone who has everything you lack, anyone would feel bitter. Sure, but it isn't her fault. She never asked me to start comparing myself to her. I'm the one to blame. You know, I appreciate that in you, Alistair, because most people are like, it's all your fault. It's my fault that you're jealous of me? Yes. Because you suck. Why don't you just realize that you're the problem, not me? Like, you know, like, we are just existing and being ourselves, and he's got a complex, and he's not like, it's just your fault because you exist and I'm jealous of you. I think you need to take ownership of your own emotional problems. You know? Like, I mean, they happen. You're going to get jealous or you're angry or you're mad about something, but you have to realize, like, it's just me. I am being a petty bitch. Okay, what? Yeah. Because they have things that I lack and I'm jealous and it makes me depressed about myself. Okay. It's not that person's fault. So, like, hating on them, being an asshole to them does nothing for you. You know? But so many people are like, it's just your problem that I'm jealous. The fuck? No, it's not. My jealousy and insecurity is my own fucking problem. It's nobody else's. But your insecurity and jealousy is not my fucking problem too. Like, Christ. Like, bitch, I got enough problems. I don't need yours. Like, I got 99,999 problems, and yours cannot be that extra one, okay? I gotta have one thing that's not a problem, alright? Back off. I'm just saying it's really nice that Alistair's taking accountability. Because a lot of people don't, you know what I mean? So, do you think I should distance myself from her? Quite the opposite. She needs you. She does? Yes. You, well, not just you. Everyone says she's smart and competent, but to me she's a fool. She only cares about the guy she likes. To her, everyone else is just a pawn on the chessboard. Her older brother, her parents, her friends. Like, I'm an obsessive weirdo. And he's got multiple personalities. We're both a little cuckoo. Let's go get a box of Cocoa Puffs, sweetie, and go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I ruined that joke. I'm sorry. It probably wasn't good to begin with. Anyway. Hold on a minute. The guy she likes? Click. What? You haven't noticed? Spacey is in love with you. This is where Ryoshi smacks him in the back of the head and creates the wizard by accident. What? In love? With me? That can't be true. She has no reason to be in love with me. She does, but I guess you must have forgotten. You're the only person who can understand her, kid. I don't make you fall in love with anybody. Nobody understands. You get me. Arisu is in love with me? Well, that's just Ryoshi's theory, but could he be right? Could she really be in love with me? Or is it one of the other guys in my head? The more I thought about her, the less I understood. What the? The next morning, I woke to find her asleep in bed next to me. Arisu? And then it hit me and I bolted upright. Why are you in my bed? Oh, sorry. Last night Gretel was resting his head in my lap. We must have dozed off. I'm so sorry. I apologized and raced out of the room. Wait, it's my room. Why should I have to leave? But then again, she had my head in her lap. It wasn't me, though. I thought back to the way she looked in her underwear. Alice? What? Sorry, did I cross a line? No, not really. I wasn't involved, so... What about you, Arisu? You don't have to do that stuff if you don't want to. I don't mind it, actually. Oh. This came as a bit of a relief. At the very least, she didn't seem upset with me. Click. Wait. Say, Alice, what do you want to have for breakfast? Anything's fine. Yeah? Maybe I'll make Eggs Benedict. Does that sound good? Yeah. Cool. I'll call you when it's ready. Thanks. She smiled warmly, then headed off to the kitchen. She doesn't mind. Because it's me? Or because it's Gretel? Hard to say. I think? Yeah, okay. Cool. This is where we ended the last time I had to record this whole thing. And we're just only a few minutes under where we were in the thing, because I think the part before this was like 17 minutes, so... And we were a little over 40, so we managed to do this in like 3 or 4 minutes less, so yeah. So apparently my rambling about learning languages is only 3 or 4 minutes, I guess. I don't know. So but yeah, I know it's a little bit shorter, but I'm gonna stop here because this is where we were supposed to stop, and then we'll continue this, which is, I'm assuming we're in the wizard's world, kind of, because, you know, he lives in the dark place, in the next part. So I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.